So let me ask you a question. If I do my math correctly, that means there are 7 gates of the body?
Yes.
And 7 gates that we're dealing with.
Yes.
So how did you like
7 gates of being.
Of being.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you discover these gates? Did you discover them all at once, or was it a process over a period of time that it developed?
It developed. I remember that I was working with a client who had a big problem with intimacy, very afraid of abandonment, and very blocked. I couldn't even reach the feelings. And I remember I started with the body and worked about like his left hand would like get numb when we would do a meditation on penetrating the body's energy field. And as we entered his left hand, so to speak, and the energy there, all of a sudden he got in touch with the death of his father when he was 6 years old. And he started crying. And it was like amazing to me because we were doing a gate of the body exercise and we got into the gate of emotions. And then we worked with that. And then I realized he needed to do a dialogue with his dad. And we needed to use the gate of dialogue. And then I knew that he needed to write or draw or, because there was a lot of emotions and we needed to integrate them. And then we were able to look at life path because he was less blocked, and silence and knowledge and followed. So, and that used to happen a lot to me, where I would start working with somebody and then I realized, oh, we need to do it here and then there and then there and there. And that's how I discovered that we have to work on all 7 gates to create this total wholeness and healing.
So is this kind of like a repeating pattern? Like it sounds like you worked with one person and discovered, and then you worked with someone else and then another person, and you found this sort of commonality of the process through people.
Yes, exactly.
I see. Interesting.
Yes. It was very organic, and it came out of working with people. I wasn't setting up to create a new method or anything like that. I thought I had enough tools for...
Right. All right, great. I hate to cut us short because it is such fascinating work, but it is time for us to take another commercial break. Yes, so we're back. You're listening to the Conscious Consultant Hour. I'm your host, Sam Leibowitz, and we're talking with Nomi Bachar today about her transformational method called the Gates of Power. So, Nomi, before we went to break, you were explaining kind of the 7 different gates of being, as you call them, to the audience. And so I'm just curious, when you're working with somebody, how can you tell if there's an issue around one of the gates? How do you know, like, which gate is blocked or out of balance or just isn't functioning properly?
Yeah, that's a fascinating moment for me, because when a new person comes in, I immediately take in their body. I can read the energy of the body, so I can see immediately. Of course, I don't talk to them about that immediately, but I can see where in the body there are blockages, and usually I can even guess, according to where in the body the blockage is, what is the emotional blockage that is under that. But what I do is I do it with them. We talk, and I say, well, how's your emotional life? What can you tell me about your emotional life? And they usually will tell me, I feel I'm stuck here, I'm stuck there, or I feel I have a lot of anger, or I feel like I'm afraid a lot, or, so we can identify that. And then I say, well, how do you feel? Where do you feel in your body tension and uncomfortability? And they will tell me, my neck, my shoulders, and then I would ask, how are your relationships with yourself? I just go gate by gate, and I very simply ask.
Okay.
And in 2 sessions, we have the whole map.
Oh, really?
Yes. They do it with me because it makes them feel, of course I can guess it, but it makes us feel like a team, which we are, and we actually have the whole map on the table.
So if someone in our audience is listening and let's say they want to try and get an idea of where they might be blocked or whatever, how is there a way for someone to do it on their own, let's say before they come to you, so that when they come to you they can say, well, I know I have at least this and this issue to deal with?
Yes, absolutely. I would say the first thing is the gate of the body. So it's very simple. If you close your eyes and you calm your mind for a minute and you take a couple of deep breaths and you scan your body with your mind's eyes, and you go from the top of your head down into your face, into your jaw, which is the first place to be locked, or behind the eyes, into the neck, and just check as you go down, where do I feel there is tension, there is a sense of numbness, or there is heaviness, something is not feeling right. Scan your body and write down to yourself couple of places and then watch them over time, and you'll see that we have chronic tension. If you're locked in the area of the jaw, you're going to find that you're locked there many times, and you can catch that. Right. Or the area of the shoulders, the neck.
Right. Yeah, so let's say somebody is has tension in their neck all the time. What would that indicate?
We have to go, you can't be really generic, but you have to go within that tension and realize the emotional.
So it's what's the feeling around that tension?
Yes. When do I get tense in my shoulders? And then people can begin to discover, and that takes them to the next gate, which is the gate of emotions. What emotions or lack of emotions are registered in the body? Okay. So a person can say, I'm having this shoulder ache, and I'm noticing that I'm getting it every time my husband is late to come home. So, we start making connections. What am I feeling when that happens? And how am I talking to myself about that? This is the gate of dialogue. What am I saying to myself?
Right.
And, so on and so forth. So I would say, if you want, I can give little bits of exercises under each gate to have people begin to become aware of that gate.
Okay, so why don't we do that? Let's just say, for the gate of the body. How does somebody become more aware of the gate of the body?
By listening to the body. This is the basic one. Listen to the tensions that are moving around your body, and don't take them for granted. Just investigate into them. Write them down, noticing that I get tense here and here and here, noticing that my shoulders get tense a lot, or that my chest feels constricted, or that my jaw. Just write it down and listen to it. Be aware. Accept it. Don't fight with it. Don't judge it. Just be aware of it. That's a beginning for the gate of the body.
Okay, and what about the gate of emotions?
The gate of emotions becomes pretty obvious. As you're walking through your day and the week, write down the emotions that come up for you a lot. And just keep a little diary going.
Right. So if it's fear or anxiety.
If it's fear or anxiety or anger or pain, sadness, or joy or silliness or love. Just notice your emotions. Begin to honor them, respect them, embrace them. Create a safe container for your own emotions.
Okay, great. And for the gate of dialogue,
Which is the gate of relationships and relating.
Okay.
So start by looking at your relationship to yourself. How do you talk to yourself? And we all talk to ourselves, whether we admit it or not, but we need to listen to that inner dialogue that we have with ourselves to figure out what is the quality of relationship that we have with ourselves. A lot of us are very judgmental and critical, harsh with ourselves. And we know that if we're harsh with ourselves, we're going to be harsh with other people. The way we relate to ourselves is going to leak into all of our relationships. So we're going to have to start with the relationship to ourselves. Notice, how do you relate to yourself? Are you a friend to yourself? Are you a compassionate companion to yourself? Or are you badgering yourself all the time? Are you demanding and nasty?
I once heard someone say that the quality of our lives is lived in the questions that we ask ourselves.
Exactly.
So, Nomi, before we go to break, if any of our listeners want to get in touch with you, how would they find you?
The phone number is 212-877-0346 in the office. The website is gatesofpower.com. And the email is info@gatesofpower.com. It is on the website.
Great. And again, if any of our audience would like to call in and ask a question directly of Nomi herself, our call-in number is 877. And welcome back. Dear Aretha Franklin. Gotta love that woman. She's got such soul in her voice. You're listening to the Conscious Consultant Hour. I'm your host, Sam Leibowitz. We're talking with Nomi Bachar about her healing modality, Gates of Power. So we went through what some of the symptoms are for the first few gates. I think we're up to the gate of creative expression.
Yes, the gate of creative expression is the gate that really opens your heart and allows you to share. And how do we know if we're blocked in this gate? Artists usually can detect right away when they're blocked because, they're stopped in terms of creating.
So, like if I was a writer, it would be writer's block.
It becomes very clear, or an actor who's stuck, or a dancer, But even people who are not artists, and we all are creative beings in nature, can tell. People come to me and say, I'm missing creative expression in my life. I hear that so many times. So, when you're not having fun being creative and expressive. You know that down in your heart. And it's good to go and do something about it because and remember, nobody has to be an artist to be creative and expressive.
Right. A lot of computer programmers I know are very creative because they have to do creative problem solving to figure out the issues.
Yes, I mean architects are tremendously.
Absolutely.
My brother is a mechanical engineer. He's amazingly creative. Creativity is the essence of us. So. Yes, if you're not doing something creative, expressive, then go ahead and do it because you need it.
Right.
The next gate...
gate of life path, I think?
Yes, gate of life path. A lot of people are confused when it comes to their life path.